Welcome to Breaking News TV 24, your channel for news updates and current affairs. Stay tuned. Russia vows to retaliate if G7 seizes 300 billion of frozen assets. Under this, Western countries to discuss actions for confiscating Russia's central bank funds in February.
G7 countries say they are close to confiscating Russian assets to transfer them to Ukraine, the Financial Times reports. According to the newspaper, the United States, which has never publicly supported confiscation before, told its group allies that there is a way to seize funds in accordance with international law. It explains that in view of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, asset confiscation can be used as a legitimate countermeasure by those states that have been affected by Russia's violation of international law. All in all, more than $300 billion worth of Russian assets have been seized.
For details of the story, please stay tuned. Russia on Friday vowed to retaliate if Western countries seize 300 billion US dollars of Russian assets frozen because of the war in Ukraine. However, G7 countries are expected to discuss options in February as Ukraine calls for frozen central bank funds to be put towards the country's reconstruction when the war ends. Russia has drawn up a list of Western assets it could seize in retaliatory move and said any move to confiscate its funds would amount to theft. It would be a significant blow to the main parameters of the international economy. It will undermine the international economy, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said. It will undermine the confidence of the other countries in the United States as well as the EU as economic guarantors. Therefore, such actions are fraught with very serious consequences. About 300 billion US dollars of Russian central bank assets are frozen under Western sanctions, meaning Moscow cannot use the money to fund its war effort. The EU said last year that it froze another 19 billion euros, which is equivalent to 21 million US dollars, belonging to Russian oligarchs as part of a suite of sanctions meant to increase pressure on Moscow's elite. Although several Western governments have expressed interest in diverting Russian money to Ukraine, legal and practical questions mean little has been done. Amid concerns that a seizure would damage the EU's reputation, officials have developed plans that would only address the interest gained on idling Russian assets rather than underlying amounts. Belgium, where many Russian assets are held in clearinghouses, said it planned to invest about 1.7 billion euros in Ukraine next year after drawing on the tax revenue from those assets. But leaked plans for February's G7 meeting show new legal theories will be put forward on confiscating the Russian central bank's assets, which are mostly held in euros, with some funds in US dollars and British pounds. The cost of Ukraine's reconstruction has been estimated at more than $400 billion by the World Bank. Kyiv is urging the US and the EU to confiscate Russian sovereign funds and the private wealth of oligarchs. The assets could also be used as a bargaining chip to force Russia to pay compensation for its invasion of Ukraine. Russia's veto power on the UN Security Council means there is essentially no chance of the world body authorizing compensation as it did after Iraq's 1990 invasion of Kuwait. Thanks for being with us, and this marks the end of our story at the moment. Don't forget to join us later for more news update, but before then, we would like to hear your opinion on this matter. Have a nice time and goodbye.